Coming up on 5 Minute News. G20 meeting fails to make ground on climate change. Emmanuel Macron says Australian PM lied to him about AUKUS deal. And American Airlines cancels hundreds of weekend flights. It's Monday, November 1. I'm Anthony Davis. Leaders of the group of 20 major economies agreed on a final statement on Sunday that urged meaningful and effective action to limit global warming, but angering climate activists by offering few concrete commitments. The results of days of tough negotiation among diplomats leaves huge work to be done at the broader United Nations COP26 climate summit in Scotland, which starts this week. US President Joe Biden said he was disappointed that more could not have been done, and he blamed China and Russia for not bringing proposals to the table. Although the G20 pledged to stop financing coal power overseas, they set no timetable for phasing it out at home and watered down the wording on a promise to reduce emissions of methane, another potent greenhouse gas. However, the Italian Prime Minister, who chaired the Rome gathering, hailed the final accord, saying that for the first time all G20 states had agreed on the importance of capping global warming at the 1.5 degrees Celsius level that scientists say is vital to avoid disaster. The G20, which includes Brazil, China, India, Germany and the US, accounts for 60% of the world's population and an estimated 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The stakes are huge, among them the very survival of low-lying countries, the impact on economic livelihoods the world over, and the stability of the global financial system. French President Emmanuel Macron said Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison lied to him over the cancellation of a submarine building contract in September and indicated more was needed to be done to rebuild trust between the two allies. Macron and Morrison were in Rome for the G20 summit, the first time they'd met since Australia scrapped a multi-billion-dollar submarine deal with France as part of a new security alliance with the United States and Britain announced in September. The new security alliance, dubbed AUKUS, and which could give Australia access to nuclear-powered submarines, caught Paris off guard and saw the French ambassadors recalled from Washington and Canberra amid accusations France had been betrayed. Asked if he thought Morrison had lied to him, Macron replied, "I don't think, I know." Morrison, speaking later at a media conference on Sunday in Rome, said he'd not lied and that he had previously explained to Macron that conventional submarines would no longer meet Australia's needs. He said the process of repairing the relationship had begun. American Airlines cancelled hundreds of flights on Sunday for a third straight day as it struggled with staffing shortages and upended weekend plans for tens of thousands of travellers. By late afternoon on Sunday, American had cancelled more than 900 flights, a third of its schedule for the day, after scrapping nearly 900 flights over the previous 2 days. A spokeswoman for American said the airline expects considerable improvement starting today, although there will be some residual impact by the weekend. By Sunday afternoon, American had already cancelled more than 100 Monday flights. America's troubles began on Thursday and Friday when high winds at times shut down its busiest hub, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and prevented the airline from using all runways there. That made it difficult for American to get crews in position for upcoming flights and caused disruptions. The number of cancelled and delayed flights grew larger in number and geographic sweep throughout the weekend. About 2/3 of Sunday's cancellations were due to a lack of flight attendants in the right places, with almost all the remaining cancellations due to a shortage of pilots. American said nearly 1,800 flight attendants will begin returning to their jobs today, and at least 600 new hires will be on board by the end of the year. They said the airline is also hiring pilots and reservations agents in time for the holidays. Airlines were barred from laying off workers during the pandemic as a condition of billions in federal pandemic relief. American temporarily furloughed 19,000 workers when the money lapsed last year, but reversed the furloughs when aid was restored. That, however, didn't stop the airlines from persuading thousands of employees to accept cash incentives and quit voluntarily. American, Southwest, and others are now hiring employees to replace some of those who left in 2020. Americans' labor unions have warned for months that the airline was scheduling more flights than its pared-down workforce could handle, leaving employees spread too thinly when bad weather snarls air travel. You can subscribe to 5 Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5 Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.